Hey guys, it's Avenger, welcome back to the channel, and today we'll take a look at the Black Square Simulations King Air Analog Instrument version. Now this is £30, which as you can imagine has me a little bit, first word to use for this, curious. Because like we've had with the Caravan and I believe the 172 now, different developers of course, they did the Caravan though, Black Square. It's interesting. Now, the Caravan obviously had patches and improvements which should make it a lot better, and I wanted to try and be as fair as possible with this one. Now, the King Air is a plane I really didn't want to fly before with the glass cockpit, and I've always preferred the analog one. Much more interesting. Now, more than the Caravan because I quite like the Kodiak, this definitely interested me. So, what does it offer? Accurately modelled, well I'd hope. Created from hundreds of reference photos, good start. 100% native animation codes, smooth animations, okay, good. 4K textures, we have PBR, physical-based rendering materials, so good reflections. Detailed normal mapping, again, all things I would expect. This is the typical advertising blurb you tend to see. New decal system for near vector quality graphics, okay, again, kind of expected. Now, the cockpit information here, we have accurately modelled components. Every switch, knob, and button is interactable and implemented along with its respective electrical circuitry. So if you turn systems on, you pull circuit breakers, it will have an impact. Slightly expected, but also good. And now it has 3D lighting technology, which is interesting. That's useful. The components and all other various relative features do function. So this is what you would call study level. Now we have experimental working windshield wipers that actually clear rain. That I'll have to test. Placards and labels all function, hideable yokes, sun visors, and other aesthetics. Interesting. Systems-wise, what do we have for that? Interactable electrical system with 12 buses, 165 circuits. That's pretty complex. Selective state saving for radio selection, radio frequency memory, and cabin aesthetics, etc. Good. 160 failures. Now this is good. We have failure systems in here with the customizable setup controls, which I'll show you. Custom coded pressurization system and circuitry. And you'll hear my voice slightly change as I'm reaching under my desk to try and find my controller here. Crew passenger oxygen system that actually depletes according to pressure and occupancy. That's pretty good. Oh, including biological demand based on weight. So if you're really fat, you'll use more oxygen. Improved thermodynamics. Good. Engine limit excursions. Decrease engine health. Okay. Emergency gear extension hand pump works. Working propeller governor tests. Good. Remote compass control with automatic gyro slaving simulated. Good. We have checklist. We have, it does use the default MSFS King Air 350 sounds inside and out. So, yeah, they've assigned the correct sounds to the various internal elements, but it's still the default sounds. For £30, I expected a custom sound set, I'll say that much. Now, they've improved the flight model compared to the default one. Again, expected. So we're basically getting failures, the interior, we're getting the instruments. This will take regular paint schemes, by the way, on the exterior, so that is useful. Now, the implementation of instruments. This can support TDI and also the PMS, so the TDS and PMS50 GTN 750s. Really good like that. We have options for the Garmin GNS 530 and 430, working title ones, I believe they are as well. And we also have the various Collins, Benedict's King instruments all functioning exactly as they should do, which is really good. Now, in terms of our electrical and miscellaneous features, we talked about a lot of those. So this comes with a very, very comprehensive manual, which is very useful. We're glad to have that. It comes with 3 liveries by default, which is whatever. Okay, it takes standard liveries, so we're all good. Let's go take a look. Now here we are in the cockpit, and a very familiar look of a King Air cockpit. And one thing I noticed immediately when I first loaded this to test was I could open the windows. It's not a big thing, but to me it's important because even on the outside, it's both open and closed. Like the outside model has it closed because it isn't modelled, but the inside shows it opening. So the interior model is actually entirely their own. And it does actually open. So that's good. We'll see if it actually has sounds working with it. But otherwise, the exterior is basically just that. Let me just test something here. I'll go back inside the cockpit. There we go. We'll take a look at the cabin first here. I wonder if, with them opening that door... Darn it, I'd hoping the back door would function, at least from the inside. It does not. Now we have... Oh, the controller's so annoying to use sometimes. None of these things will click. Okay, whatever. The aesthetics are quite nice in the cabin, actually. It's decent in here. I was hoping maybe a tray table or two would work, or a feature like that. Does not appear to be modelled in. Now, I'm noticing I get a definite FPS hit in this aircraft. So, their simple, smooth implementation is not something I'm noticing here. Let's go back to our interior camera. Drop it on the floor, out of the way. Now, yeah, I'm noticing a definite FPS hit. That is, for the price, again, not something I particularly like. Let's fire this thing up and get it going. Now, I'm going to mess some things up because I'm not a King Air pilot. I've glanced through the actual documentation, so I've had a look at what I can do with it. But, again, I'm not an expert, so don't expect me to be an expert. Turn those off for now. We don't need the actual those on. We do, however, need to have our... Where is it? Where's my avionics switch? It was here a minute ago. I had it. And I remember it being around here somewhere. It's one of these ones near here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I have mine set up with the PMS 50 here. Which gives us this. Now, on the radar, we have, of course, our actual weather radar system. Which is the usual as you would expect. Why hasn't this come on? Did I not turn something on? We put master power on. Oh, the inverters need to be on. There we go. Why are you not turning on? It did it last time. Okay. So these are our test menus. These are our menus for settings. As we have here, we have engine condition, repair, functions, reset failures, refill oxygen. We can do all those features. We can move it to here for failures. And we've got random and scheduled activating failures, detailed settings, reset options there. So we can go here and we can scroll down our list of options and things we want to have set to various numbers, giving us how we want the aircraft to be set up, which is useful. Okay, let's try and start this up very poorly. So I'm going to do exactly that. So let's cut those, let's keep these down here. Those are going to be in idle. I'm going to need to have my fuel is on. I'm going to have to put in my starters and ignition. Why am I starting both up at once? Let's not do that. We'll go for right first. Let our numbers come up here. And once things are looking good, we'll give us some fuel. Getting a good start there, so we'll start up the right one. Obviously, I should probably have the boost pumps on. Did not think of that, did I? There we go. Spool up left. Give it the juice, and away we go. Okay. So we turn that off as well. Oh. Do you want to stay on? Oh, that's reset. So they're on. Those are set to on. Okay. So we have our inverters on. We have master powers on. Master battery bus is to normal. Everything else is set as it should be. Engine anti-icings down here. They will obviously work. Prop test governor, we'll put the actual Jester primary governor test there. That is auto feather arm. External power is not set, but we can set it. I don't want it, but we can set it. So bleed air is off and pitch trim, oxygen armed. Oxygen is there to arm. Rudder boost down here. Electric trim is on. Where's our bleed air? It's down here. It's one of these ones, I believe. There we go. Okay, prop pitch is down. Yes, that is intended. I'm trying to work out why this isn't actually engaging, because it should be. Oh, yes, we have to select our mode we want over here. Obviously, we've got the 530 down here. The regular radios. And we can switch to the 430 or the 530. And this is not turning on for some unknown reason. I don't know why, because it should auto-detect which one I have. Oh yes, we can select exactly what layout we want over here, by the way, which is very cool. So I can have both that and the 530, which is rather cool. Yeah, not sure why this is not turning on, because it did turn on last time I had it turned on. Oh, volume and power. Did I turn that on? I love it when things don't work properly. It's fantastic. But that worked last time for me. That worked absolutely fine, so just ignore that one. That's definitely not an issue with the aircraft. That's probably an issue with my brain. Okay, so we have our windshield wipers. Actually, let's change the weather here. Let's make it rainy. So, a few clouds. Let's go for drizzly rain. There we go. So we have drizzly rain, which will give us a great opportunity to test our lighting for a start. Turn these all up. Okay, and it actually does appear to be clearing the rain. And the lighting's beautiful and moody in here. I like this a lot. This has a lot of atmosphere to it. I do quite like that. Okay, let's go back to being less miserable, shall we? Go back down to just a standard, nice, general, easy, few clouds. And nice, beautiful daylight. We'll turn that off. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Alright, so what's not set? RVS not ready. Don't know what that is. We'll pretend we do. Because, you know, it's probably the navigation instrument that hasn't located itself. Which I'm going to pretend I don't care about. Either way. Right, so we'll get ourselves taxied out. Take a quick trip over to Friday Harbour in this and see how she behaves. I really do need to actually spend a lot more time familiarising myself with turboprops in this sim. There we go, let's get my head turned on there. Let's get our first stage set of flaps ready for departure here from Orcas Island. It's not a big trip, it's just popping across the bay to Friday Harbour, which will take us no time at all. Aircraft's behaviour on the ground in terms of its actual speed and behaviour is decent here. I'm set to full conditions, so there we go, into low power. We should see us actually drop to almost no speed whatsoever if I brake here. Yeah, we've got nothing. I actually have to give it power to move us here, which is absolutely fine. As intended. I have no idea why the 430, the 750 is not working, but it literally was when I tested it last, so I will chalk that up to a mistake on my part here. Again, definitely seeing a performance issue. That's my main criticism right now. In terms of texturing and internal appearance, actually a quick test here. See, now I would have liked to have had a sound difference. There isn't one. No audible difference from opening the storm windows, which if you're going to spend the time actually modelling in the storm windows, why didn't you actually bother to actually change the sound? That feels a little bit, you know? Okay. And this is stuttery here. This is not particularly pleasant. Okay, give it some welly. And off we go. 4-minute flight here, so it's just a little tyre kick rather than doing a pattern. We'll just take it over to Friday Harbour. Keep us straight here. Speed is good. Gonna ease back there. Gear up. Flaps coming up. Set our power as we actually want it. I will say the analog instrumentation is definitely a plus for me. I quite like it. And what I really like is the attention to detail with the visors, which I can place manually. There's no kind of just on or not on. It actually gives you the chance there. So we're seeing a bit of prop differentiation there. There we go. Props are synced. Not quite, but just slightly. Oh, there we go. A little bit of shift by millimeters. That's more of a flight control difference there. Okay, let's bring her around here. Bring our speed back as well. We don't need this much. Oh, that's chunky. Yeah, so a £30 sterling add-on isn't cheap. That is what I call a high-end release in terms of price. When it's just an... even though it's... okay, I'll give it that it's a full systems for the interior, which is the meat and potatoes of the aircraft. Obviously, you're not flying the exterior model. You're flying from the cockpit 99% of the time. And all those systems are incredibly useful. So it's incredibly good in that regard. Now, it almost feels like not doing an exterior is a bit of an afterthought at that point for that price. The exterior model's great, don't get me wrong, it's a good model. But at the same time, I do feel that the performance is a little on the chunky side, which is not ideal. The wind, if you could implement, which the Caravan didn't by the way, the storm window. Oh, I like that. It's like it's fighting the wind. Or something weird's happening there. That's a strange animation. Yeah, close, please. That's a really strange animation. But it is a little chunky on performance, which is not ideal. I'll switch to that for a second to see what happens. See if it's an actual implementation of the 750 that it does have an impact. FPS has stabilized. Interesting. It's not great, but it's down, definitely, but it has stabilized and it's a little smoother. So the 750 potentially having a slight impact there. Okay, let's pull our power back in here. Friday Harbour should be directly ahead of us there. Or it's not, actually, it's off to our side here. There appears to be a giant mountain in front of us at Friday Harbour. I know some people mentioned some ground spikes in the world after the update to this area. I think I might know what they're talking about if you look off the front of our nose there. Something dodgy this way comes. Okay. So we're not at particularly high altitude right now. It's about just under 2,000 feet. The aircraft's actual flight behaviour does feel decent. It feels nicer than the stock King Air. But I don't have exactly thousands of hours in that either. It does feel nicer. And everything seems to operate a lot better in terms of form and function. Yep, there is a little derpy tower in the terrain. That's new to this area. Oh, and it's gone away now we get closer. Okay, one of those random spikes of the sim. That should be Friday Harbour there, so we'll begin our entry. Yeah, this was derping of terrain detail at range there, which is a weird one. Okay, let's pull this speed considerably back here. We are rocketing along. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you, King Air. Yep, you're going to beep at me because I've not got my gear down. I'm well aware. If anything, I'm just trying to kill this speed off so I can actually do so. Pop that down now. We'll follow this road as a reference for our downwind. Okay, give it a little bit of rudder there. From what I've been reading in the manual, the autopilot functions are all as per the actual manual for the instrumentation, so that should be good. Let's give it some flaps here, a little bit more power, just to stop us from dropping out of the sky like a big Beechcraft potato. I will say I'm quite keen to spend some time in this aircraft now. This is definitely a version of the King Air I would fly more. Again, my only real criticism is the performance. I have a high-end computer. I run the sim regular on Ultra. My benchmark is that I should be 30 to 50 FPS given the settings I actually have. And we're touching 30 just about, but it does drop below it. Now, with the 750 not enabled, I get more. It's more stable, but it's still on the low end. Realistically, since Sim Update 10, I should be expecting 40 to 50, up to 60. The sim has never been particularly kind on FPS. It's had moments where it's been good, but in general, it's been pretty potato. They talk about all these major improvements in FPS, and it never actually delivers. At least not for me. They seem to get better improvements for low-end computers, but no for anything that improves performance for higher-end machines. Okay, we're a little on the low side here. We're 1,000 feet, we should be okay. Okay, let's drop some of his power out. Begin our turn here for final. It's going to be quite a short, stabilised final here, but we should be just fine. Dumping some altitude very quickly at this one. Oh, yep, hello. A little bit more power. I have to remember that, oh, this is getting choppy here. We're about 20 FPS now. I have to remember the turboprops in this sim do like to just drop out the sky below a certain throttle setting. And I need to also remember that this runway is kind of on a little bit of a tabletop. So it's higher up than I think it is. As I come in for quite a steep approach here, I'm going to have to definitely flare this one. Otherwise we're going to be pancake. Little bump, but we're okay. Yeah. It has its moments, but definitely high on the FPS impact. That is absolutely what I will assign this one in terms of a status. Again, for the price, I expect it to be a little bit better in that regard. I know they're here to try and give you as many systems as possible, but I do worry that it's a little bit over the top given that component. We do need the sim to work well and not have to dial our sim back for systems. Now, there are, of course, the two crowds. There are the crowd that will take the most systems-intensive aircraft possible and prefer that and will drop their graphical settings for the aircraft. But in the modern world of computer development and game development, you should not have to do that. It should be possible to improve accuracy and performance whilst maintaining a good, solid, impact-free add-on. And it's going to be a lot on the code side of this rather than the graphical side. So it's one of those difficult questions to answer. What do you go for? What do you prefer? And how much do you focus on optimization? To me, optimization is critical for all things, because not only can you get more people to enjoy your product, but they'll enjoy it better. I'm loath to be really that critical about this aircraft in many regards. I will summarise for those who didn't want to wait till the end. So, the storm window is nice, but lack of change in volume when you open it is an oversight for £30. The price tag is high, but the features are good, very good. The system's depth is exciting and interesting. It gives you all those functionalities you would like, and if it works, it can be used. This is good. There are failures, there are inbuilt systems, and care has to be taken with the aircraft. Wonderful. And for just an interior, they've done a very good job. The texture quality and appearance is lovely. It looks really nice. It gives it that kind of slightly used, but also well looked after aircraft look. And there is tons of customization in terms of your radio setup and layout, so it really gives you the opportunity to experience the aircraft you want. So positives: great looks, great systems, great functionality, and great options. Negatives are no sound change on the window, stock King Air sounds, which again for £30 I would really expect a custom sound set. Sim performance is quite borderline. I'm not going to say bad, but it's definitely on the borderline. And actually, that's about it. So, yeah, price, performance, and the sounds. Otherwise, it's actually pretty good. So if you want a more systems fidelity, that's a horrible word, a systems faithful King Air, this could be the choice for you. Just bear those caveats in mind. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.